Working toward a warp drive, in his garage lab, an Omaha man aims to bend the fabric of space. You might not believe any of this stuff, but suspend your disbelief for a moment and make space for something incredible. There are dreamers out there. They attend space conventions and frequent online discussions and brush aside poo-pooing issues over causality and exotic matter, and believe these questions must have answers. You just have to know where to look, because maybe the key to unlocking this cosmic mystery will be found in a place nobody expects, like here in David Perez's garage. You might call Perez one of those dreamers, though what he's doing goes far beyond the realm of online chatter. Some guys spend their spare time restoring automobiles, devoting garage space to motionless Corvettes and Camaros. Perez is making his own warp drive. To hear him and his small team of supporters tell it, something weird is happening out here in the garage. The compression of the fabric of space, Perez says matter-of-factly. On average, he spends a couple hours a day here, almost every day of the week. To bend the fabric of space, he sits in front of a tray of instruments, twisting knobs and glancing every now and then into a Faraday cage, where a 3.5-pound weight hangs inside an electrically isolated case. Outside the case hangs a strange instrument made up of V-shaped panels with fractal arrays on the surfaces. The instrument is the latest version of what Perez believes is the world's first low-power warp drive motor. He turns around and points to the back of the garage door, where a red laser, beamed at the weight and reflected back against the door to demonstrate the movement happening in the case, drifts from its original spot. Slowly, in incremental amounts, the weight is drawn towards the V-shaped motor. You're not supposed to be able to do this, Perez says. At just 100 watts of power, he claims an electrical field created by his arrays is ever so slightly condensing space in front of the motor, the way you'd squeeze coils on a slinky. Not many people have seen this, some aren't willing to look. Perez has submitted papers to journals and proposals to conventions where when he does get a response at all, he's told his discovery is premature. It's so far out there he's not going to get funding to do it, says Jack Kasher, a retired physics professor at the University of Nebraska in Omaha. If it's going to be done, it's going to be done in his garage. Before he read Perez's paper, Kasher thought the idea was ridiculously impossible. Now he believes the 62-year-old adjunct instructor is on to something. Most people would agree zipping off to other stars would be pretty cool. It would also take a really long time. To make such a trip feasible, a spacecraft would have to move faster than the speed of light. Unfortunately, Einstein told us that to get a spaceship to even go the speed of light would need infinite energy, and to go beyond the speed of light is impossible. But then in 1994, Mexican theoretical physicist Miguel Alcubierre came up with a workaround. By artificially warping space, essentially picking up a piece of fabric at 2 points and bringing them together, a ship could travel incredible distances while avoiding the speed of light problem. In theory, a warp drive contracts space in front of the ship and expands it at the back. The ship itself sits inside what is called a warp bubble. He believes warp bubbles already occur. For decades, he's been drawn to case studies of pilots apparently thrown off course, and in some reports projected hundreds of miles ahead while trying to navigate through storms. He's especially enamored with the story of Bruce Gernon, an experienced pilot who in 1970 flew into what is commonly called the Bermuda Triangle. Facing a fierce thunderstorm, Gernon steered toward what appeared to be a small break in the clouds, only to emerge 100 miles ahead of where he should have been. Perez theorizes what the pilots like Gernon really experience is a local space warp created by the immense electrical energy within the storms. He went about replicating such an electrical field at lower power levels in his garage. In a series of experiments, he beamed a laser into the core of the field and observed a compression of the beam. Since then, he's turned his attention to creating an actual warp drive motor, those V-shaped panels, that generate the same effect. Science is out there in nature, he says. You just have to recognize the pattern and realize that this is the way the world works. For Perez, the next big step comes next summer. In addition to refining his motor, he has been building a 7 by 7 foot spacecraft called the Bluebird 2. He admits it's somewhat for show. The ship won't even travel to the outer limits of his own driveway. But using the same principle as his cage experiment, he intends to lift the craft a few feet off the ground. That's what people want to see, he says. They want to see Star Trek. This is awesome. Really hope we're not ever going to get any kind of stuff like this from the government or, any kind of elite-funded organization. It's going to have to come from local independent scientists like this guy. So I wish you all the luck in the world. And get your patents. Get your stuff in order. Don't sell this idea to anybody, because they're just going to take it and bury it like they did with all this free energy out there. But good luck to you, my friend.